Welcome. Hello students of Foundations of Entrepreneurship. We are starting a new module, a very short module where I will help you identify problems, I will help you identify opportunities and come up with ideas. So, this module or this chapter is called opportunity identification, and it is the first part of an entrepreneur's journey. We identify a problem, find an opportunity and then go about the rest of our process. We have identified an opportunity, then we come up with an idea, and this entire course, like I have explained at the start, is a step by step process. So, we will first identify opportunity, come up with ideas, and then we will go and do customer value proposition, developing the product, taking it to market, doing finance for it or doing the accounting and finance for it, figuring out our team, figuring out our co-founder, what's the best way of developing strategy for the company, and at the end of this our startup or our little company will have a pitch deck that we can go to investors with. Yeah. So, this particular lesson is called problems, opportunities, ideas. So, the intent of this lesson is for you to understand what are problems, what are opportunities, what are ideas, and how to spot opportunities, how to look at problems and how to come up with ideas. So, that is the objective of this lesson. We will start first with explaining or understanding what is it that entrepreneurs do, what is the definition of entrepreneurship, and the first and foremost is that entrepreneurs identify a problem to solve. So, very simple, entrepreneurs identify a problem to solve. I am not an entrepreneur, I have identified many problems and now I have to figure out how to go about solving them. Many of my problems that I will tell you are about teaching in a classroom. So, I have a clicker, but on the days that I am wearing a sari, my clicker or my microphone, in a large classroom you use a microphone, I am carrying them in my hand like this. I want something where those kind of microphones that MCs and so on, where I just find it strange wearing those in my class, wondering how can there be a discrete mic which is not a hand mic, meaning it does not, I do not have to give up one hand only to hold a mic and another hand is doing a clicker. So, when students talk, I do not know where to, So, my problems are these kind of problems which are about making me more effective in my classroom. Yeah. So, what does an entrepreneur do? Comes up with an unmet customer need, something that has not been solved. So, first and foremost, to come up with a problem, to keep your eyes open, keep your ears open and identify a problem. Then you match the problem with your unique ability to solve the problem, to serve the needs of the customer. Scale is much later, which is how do you make it much bigger, but you have identified a problem, you have a unique ability to solve that problem. It has to be unique, otherwise everybody else can do the same. There is no fun in doing the same thing that others have done. That is not what entrepreneurs do. They solve, they recognize a problem and they come about a solution which is unique to them. And the third, which is they implement the solution so as to create value. And I know that this word I have already used a bit and I will continue to use it in the lessons going forward. Value is what a customer gets, value is what a company gets, both. So, when we deliver a product or an offering that a customer likes, wants, needs, we are giving them value. They give us money for it, they pay a price for it and they give us money for it, they put down money to buy it, and we, that is our company or our startup, makes money in the process, as in makes profit in the process, and therefore there is value for us. So, an entrepreneur spots a problem, has a unique solution to the problem, and that solution is not on paper, that solution is not a drawing or a code, the solution is actually something that reaches the customer, is valued by the customer, and customers put down money to buy it. So, in one line, an entrepreneur is someone who gets something new done, and done is in the context of a customer. So, this is who an entrepreneur is. There are two parts that need to happen for entrepreneurship to happen. One part of it is opportunities, and this entire lesson today is about opportunities. Yeah? And the other is there needs to be an opportunity and there needs to be an entrepreneur, and that entrepreneur we are calling an enterprising individual. You know, I am sure in your even when you were young, you have heard your parents or your people around you say वो आगे जाके कुछ जरूर बनेगा, because उसमें तेजस है. That person, the girl or the boy or the young person that we are talking about has tejas, has utsah, has enthusiasm. I can use many words, but that person is enterprising, is always looking for a problem to solve and is thinking, has some creativity, and creativity, like I explained to you, is not drawing, is not about writing the script for a movie, is about finding a new solution. So, those are enterprising individuals. So, the combination of an opportunity and an individual brings entrepreneurship together. What are the characteristics of opportunities? We will come to in just a slide from now, but let me talk about the individuals. So, entrepreneurs are those, they have mindset and they have skill set. And one of the myths that myth as in log galat sochte hain, it's a misnomer, it's a commonly understood thing but incorrectly understood. गलत सोचते हैं कि entrepreneurship is something जो हमारे खून में होना चाहिए, that entrepreneurship is something that you are born with. No, that's not true. Entrepreneurship is something that you can develop, and there are two parts. You need to develop the mindset and you need to develop the skill set. This course will definitely help you build the skill set for entrepreneurship, because we are teaching this stage by stage. You need to do this, then you need to do this. So, the skill set you will develop, you will appreciate what others have done. For the mindset part in this course, I am definitely going to invite 5 or 6 entrepreneurs who have set up their own companies, and through those journeys you will be inspired. I request you to read about more entrepreneurs, or not just read, see videos that you have access to. A lot of this is available, videos online, you can see them on YouTube, and you will get inspired by the problems they spotted and why was that problem important to them and how did they go about creating a solution and how has that impacted society. So, the entrepreneurship story needs two things. It needs an opportunity where innovation can come in, and it needs an individual who's dynamic, who's enterprising, junoon hai, utsah hai, wanting to do stuff. So, those are the kind of people we are looking for, and I really know that all of you can work towards, can train yourself, can learn to be an entrepreneur by building both the skills as well as getting inspired by other entrepreneurs to be like them. What is the benefit of this? Why should you be an entrepreneur? The benefit of this is you are a job creator, you are not a job seeker. And in the definition of job creator, or in the definition of I am my own master, comes independence. It comes with a lot of hard work, but you are working for yourself. And when you are working for yourself, the output is yours, the input is yours, the output is yours. There is pride, there is satisfaction, there is happiness, all of that associated with becoming independent. You also, of course, have a great opportunity to create wealth, and one of the very commonly used terminologies in entrepreneurship, in the startup business, is this word called unicorn. A unicorn is a company that is valued, uski aaj ki value is more than $1 billion because startups and innovators and entrepreneurs are global. It is not said in any one currency, but in the global currency, which is the US dollar, the global currency as in the most used currency globally, which is the US dollar. So 1 billion, I don't know what is today's conversion, but I am going to say it's something like 8,500 crores or somewhere between 8,500 and 9,000 crores. That's the value of the US dollar today. So this is what ability or the potential for an entrepreneur to create wealth for themselves. A unicorn is $1 billion. This is another, just a statement that someone from Harvard Business School, a well-known professor, said. Entrepreneurship is the pursuit means following opportunity, is the chasing of an opportunity, is trying to make that opportunity realizable. So that is the pursuit of opportunity, and here the person says without regard to resources controlled. It does not matter आपके खुद की बैंक में कितना पैसा है, it does not matter whether you yourselves are technically oriented or not. The reality in entrepreneurship is many of us go behind the vision of the entrepreneur, and people put in money, those are the investors, sometimes customers put in money and others put in their dil and jaan, they put in their sweat, they put in effort, and those are your co-founders, your founding team, maybe your employees. So the entrepreneur has identified a problem which seems to excite a lot of people. The entrepreneur themselves are inspiring and motivating, so other people want to join them in this journey of solving this problem in a unique way, and that is why Howard Stevenson says without regard to, मतलब it does not matter आपके पास खुद के पास कितना पैसा है बैंक में, या आपको टेक्निकल नॉलेज है, या आपके साथ ऑलरेडी 3 co-founder हैं. You don't need, you will get all of this, people will come and follow you, it's like a bandwagon. Okay? So that is what entrepreneurship is, and the first part of entrepreneurship is opportunity, and we'll start with defining or explaining what are the characteristics of an opportunity. See, a problem is easy to understand. A problem is something is not there, it's the lack of something. So problems are easier to spot. Opportunities sometimes are not as easy to spot. Problems are from a customer's point of view. The senior citizens that I see are lonely, so that is the problem from the customer's point of view. The opportunity from my startup's point of view is the ability for my startup to provide a service such that the loneliness comes down, and in the process my company makes money. So that is why it is an opportunity. It provides value to the customer and it creates value for my company. So problems easier to spot, opportunities slightly more difficult to spot, because sometimes opportunity is in doing something better, newer, and we will see some of those examples. So what are the characteristics of opportunities? Newness. If everybody is already doing the same thing, please don't do it. There is nobody wanting to switch for the same product. It has to be desirable, because we said innovation means adoption. Customers have to adopt. If customers have to adopt an innovation, they have to desire it. I would like something that makes me not sweat on a hot summer day. Yeah, and what is the innovation? I see some people walking around with a fan in their hand, not that kind of fan which we used to use earlier, but actually a battery operated fan, so that their faces and their necks and chest, which is where the maximum sweating happens, gets taken care of. So desirability. It has to be something that customers would like to adopt. Potential economic value. Economic value means it has to deliver value to the customer and make profit for the company. So without economic value, an opportunity is just an opportunity in paper. It's not even a social opportunity. It does not make money. It is not an opportunity at all. So, an opportunity is something which is new, hasn't been solved before, is something that the customer would want, the customer desires that solution, and the customer is willing to pay for that solution, such that our startup, our company can generate profit out of it. The last one that I have written, which is legal or ethical or regulation, is of course required. We can't be doing things which are against the laws of the country we are in or the laws of the state that we are in, but to me that is a more secondary thing, or it's a primary thing saying iske bina to we should not even be thinking of launching. So, we have newness which is needed, we need customer desirability, customer adoption that is needed, and we need something that can get profit to our company. Those are the characteristics of opportunities, and we will spend some time figuring out how to spot these opportunities. I use this pyramid which is borrowed from sociology, psychology to explain needs and wants of customers. This is called the Maslow's need hierarchy, and simply put it says that first our basic needs have to be met before we want to fulfill our higher order needs, and then there is even higher order needs. So, let us take the bottom of the pyramid, the bottom of the Maslow's need hierarchy pyramid. Here the needs that need to be met for people are food, air, water, warmth, shelter, in Hindi roti kapda aur makan. It's a joke and I say it very often, but maybe it's not even a joke, which is roti kapda makan or Wi-Fi. This is the most basic needs that any human being needs today, and those are called, it's a very difficult spelling, but it just means physiology means body needs in that sense. So, warmth, shelter, food, air, water, etc. are the physiological needs. I do not treat this as a 5-step pyramid, I treat it as a 3-step pyramid. So, the base of the pyramid is most basic needs, most fundamental needs. Safety is a very fundamental need, is a very basic need. The middle of the pyramid, when these basic needs of physiology, of human physiology and safety have been met, we want to do the next set of things, which are often love, belonging, being part of a community. And if you see, there are 2 steps in that. So, the first part, and maybe it is true in your life also, we all first try to blend in. We want to belong in a community. You are part of a community which is your own college. You are part of a community which could be where you grew up. I identify it resonates with me, I identify myself with the women professional community, because women professionals in the age in which I started working were a very small part of the total workforce. Even today they do not reach the 50% mark at all, they perhaps do not even meet the 30% mark, but for me the Indian women professional community is something that I identify it with. So, those are the belonging needs. We want to belong, we want to be part of a community, and community can also mean my family, my friends, my loved ones. The next step within the middle itself is called esteem. Once you have found the community that you want to belong to, or you belong to, whether it is your family, your immediate friends, or like the community within your college or the professional women that I was speaking about, there is one more need that comes in, which is slightly higher order than the need to belong, and this is the need to stand out. So, even within your community, you want to lead, you want to stand out, you do not want to just belong. And here the innermost needs that human beings have is of esteem, of status, of strength, of achievement, accomplishment, acknowledgement. People recognize me for what I bring to this community. That is what esteem means. Doesn't have to be a national kind of thing, but people stand out. A lot of brands that consumers use are for esteem, are to tell the world that this is who they are. I dress well, it is an indication of my need to have status. It is an indication of my need to show off to the world. So, esteem is higher than blending in or community. And at the top of the Maslow pyramid is called self-actualization. In Hindi, the word I use is nirvana, where people have gone beyond the need to stand out. They now want to do what is best, both from their point of view, for themselves and for society. So, self-actualization is written here very nicely. It is the desire to become the most that one can be. And this might mean getting better and better at some talent that you have. This might mean shunning off from the social medias of the world and being more focused on the real things or whatever. These are self-fulfillment needs. So, I go back and I will tell you that I use three levels of the pyramid. The lowest is called the foundational needs, the fundamental needs, the basic needs. The middle are the community, love, belonging, and once you have reached the community, love, belonging, a split in the middle itself is esteem, is standing out, showing off, that is the esteem or respect or status need. And right at the top is self-actualization, which is where you want to be the best that you can be. How is this important for us in the context of opportunity identification? And it is. So, what this pyramid tells you is at the base of the pyramid is a need, is a zarurat, is a need, and as you go higher and higher, it becomes a want. It is no longer a need, and that is called chahat. So, in any category, in any product domain or category, we first have to meet the basic functional needs. So, phones have to communicate, meaning I should be able to call you, you should be able to talk to me. That is the fundamental need in a phone, does not matter which brand it is. Once these needs have been met, we build in higher order things. So, for love and belonging, we said we can give you text, we can give you video calling, we can give you all of these social media apps through which you can stay connected with your community, not just like a aap theek ho kind of call. It is a larger purpose, it is a purpose of staying connected with the community that you belong to. And I keep telling students of mine that as I grow older, I do not want social media, I want my phone to go back to being my feature phone, which I used to have maybe 20 years back or longer than that, and I do not want to have people email me or WhatsApp me or send me social media. I just want my phone to serve the purpose of calling the 4 or 5 or whatever number of people in my life and needing it for my safety needs. So, that is my understanding of self-actualization. Yours might be different from mine, but this was just to explain to you that product features change depending on where the customer is in this pyramid. And if I were to tell you that the largest number of customers for a category are at the lowest level, that is natural, but the most profit, the most unit profit is made at the middle of the pyramid. So, think about the mobile phones that we already started talking about. The lowest, the feature phones are the cheapest in price, but not the highest on profit. The middle phones, which are high on features, getting higher and higher on price, and their unit profits are much higher. So, this hierarchy, this Maslow's pyramid is useful for you to understand where the problems are, where the competitors are, and whether we are meeting basic needs of consumers or higher order needs of consumers. The other place that you can find, you ask this question, what is the need that you are seeking to address? You need to define it clearly, who is the customer and what is driving that need, and you have to find out what is the problem and how important that problem is in their world. I use two words called unmet needs and underserved needs. I do not think there are many needs today that are unmet. I do not even food, which there are people hungry even today in the world, including in our country, and it's not because we don't produce enough food. We produce enough food. It's the difference in income that is keeping people hungry. It's the loss of food in transportation that is keeping people hungry. So it is an underserved need, not really an unmet need. ऐसा नहीं है कि solution नहीं है, solution है, but the solution may not be the most efficient solution. And most of the work that you all will do in your innovation and entrepreneurship journey is to look for underserved needs. Underserved meaning hai a solution, just not doing a great job of solving the problem. Yeah. I use the United Nations SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, also as a means to explain to students that you can find opportunities and problems in each of these 17. And we can start with no poverty. Just look at the second one, it says zero hunger. And you know today, even today, many communities are starving or not getting 3 meals a day. Yeah? The third is about health and well-being. And in health and well-being, I'll use the Maslow's pyramid just to make it come alive. In health and well-being, there are some needs which are at the bottom of the pyramid. The needs at the bottom of the pyramid could be respiratory diseases, could be communicable diseases, could be those kind of diseases at the base of the pyramid. At the middle of the pyramid, we are moving to diseases like lifestyle diseases, which is heart diseases, kidney, diabetes, even cancer is considered a lifestyle disease. So that's like at the middle, and at the top of the pyramid, people are now looking for, give me products, both food products as well as exercise, yoga, meditation products, so that I can become the best version of myself. So here I am trying to explain to you that if I take just the health and well-being thought from the UN SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and apply the Maslow's hierarchy in it, I probably will come up with hundreds of ideas. Supposing I didn't even look at it as the whole world. Supposing I said that the only customers I want to serve are women in the age group of 30 to 50. Just stay with me, bear with me. If I take the good health and well-being thought, I will find so many opportunities at the base of pyramid, which could be to do with menstruation, at the middle of pyramid, which could be to do with loss of bone density, which could be to do with obesity, which could be to do with diabetes, heart condition, and as I go higher and higher up the pyramid, I will find problems which are linked to not able to live life to their maximum. So how can we solve each of these? And many of these are not yet solved. So if you look at the United Nations SDGs and look at each of these goals, for example, just see climate action. There is so much that young people like you can do in climate action. We are leaving the world worse and worse for our children and grandchildren. My generation has been the culprit in this. Can we request your generation to, firstly, you all are more sensitive than perhaps my generation has been, but can you also take up the responsibility or find ideas that will make planet Earth survive? Forget about human beings surviving, we are now worried about planet Earth surviving. So that's climate action, and in this can you find ideas that you will work with. So this is why I brought out the United Nations SDGs. Another place for finding ideas is in looking at tech-based opportunities. So what are the shifts that are happening in technology? We all are moved to online purchases. How can that be used to create new opportunities? All of us are beginning to adopt, or many of us have already adopted generative AI solutions. The mobile phone is all pervasive. It is in our hands all the time. How can that be used for identifying opportunities to sell to that customer? There is a word here called Moore's law. I think I referred to it a little while back. Moore's law says that computing power will double and cost will halve. I know I have used a slightly different word than it actually says, but essentially it is saying that technology, and it will double and halve in a period of 1.5 years. Sorry, I missed that. So, in 2 years time, every 2 years computing power will double and the cost of it will become half. So, it is like if this is the pace at which that if this is the pace at which technology is going to go forward, what are the opportunities that you can find in this? What are the problems you can find because of this? Yeah? So, that is the tech based opportunities. The second is to look for changes in society. We are moving from a joint family to a nuclear family. We are moving to a life where our children are leaving home at the ages of maybe 14 or 15 to go live in hostels to be able to study better. So, these are some of the societal changes that are happening. One big change that came, I do not know whether to contribute it to tech or to society, but let us say that disruption was COVID. All of us have lived through this disruption called COVID. What all changes did it bring in how we live, how we work, how we learn? All of us moved to online at that time. So, here in thinking of the disruptions, you will find problems that are needed to be solved. You will find opportunities that you as an entrepreneur could address. You address an opportunity, you solve a problem. That is just the way it is said. We solve problems, we address opportunities, but in both cases our startups need to make profit out of that. Yeah? Once you have found an opportunity, you need to recognize it. How do you do that? There is a word called the rant list. You just sit down by yourself or sit down in a group of 3-4 people and say, what are the challenges that I am facing myself? What are the problems that we are seeing in our immediate friends and family circle? What are the problems that I am seeing? I am seeing waste piling up everywhere in our societies. So, what are the problems that you are seeing in your immediate world? That is observing your surroundings, that is a rant list. You need to listen to people. In fact, I have heard people say that whenever they are traveling, they are talking to their Uber drivers, they are talking to the person sitting next to them in the train, and some of us are just consumed with ourselves and our phones and the music in our ears. Nothing is wrong with that, but you learn so much if your eyes are open and your ears are open and you are open to having a conversation with people around you. How do you generate ideas? You brainstorm. You brainstorm, you think of the problem and think of how it can be solved for. Each of the ideas gets explored, nothing gets thrown away. That is how a brainstorming session is run. For each of the ideas, you evaluate the strengths and the weaknesses and then decide which of them do you want to pursue. As soon as the word opportunity comes into our mind, a following word comes into our mind called assessment. अगर कोई opportunity होगी तो उसका evaluation भी होगा. You cannot have an opportunity without figuring out how to evaluate. So, an assessment is a quick way for us to evaluate whether that opportunity is worth spending time. It is going to take 5 years of our time to build on that problem or that opportunity. So, we at least must do a quick assessment to figure out whether our time is worth spending. After time comes money, comes the resource, that is other people and so on, but let us at least understand what a quick assessment looks like. I am showing you 2 ways of doing a quick assessment. Here I will just read the line first and then I will explain it to you. This one is about making something, make something that people want and sell it profitably to many of them in perpetuity. Okay? And each word is loaded. Every single word has a lot of meaning. Make something. Agar mujhe, if I have to make something, I need to have the technology. Technology should not go obsolete over time. I should be able to innovate over time. That is the technology risk. Do I have the technology? Do I have access to that technology? What is the market risk? The market risk is I may make something, but people may not buy. That is the market risk. It is about understanding whether people, society, a large number of people actually want that product, desire it, yeah? Sell it profitably. That is business model. We can make it, we can find customers, but our customers are not willing to pay because it is not worth paying. It is a nice thing to have, it is not a needed thing to have. So, they are happy to have it, but they are not willing to pay for it, and that is not a good opportunity as far as an entrepreneur is concerned. Yeah. So, that is the business model risk. Scaling risk is okay, we will sell, we will get our first 200 customers, but after that we are not able to find customers, it does not work. You need to be able to sell to a large number of people, and that is called scaling. And perpetuity is, there are brands that including the Tatas where I used to work, they have been around 2 centuries. So, that is perpetuity. Yeah, so, perpetuity means your startup is not a 5-year game plan. When you start, it has to be a perpetuity game plan. There is another model that I have shown you, and here are the 5 questions. It is called the 5 filter framework, and the first filter is called a burning need. And one thing I want to clarify to all of you is burning need does not mean that it should be burning for everybody. Everybody should have this burning need. No. It should be a burning need for a set of people. It should be either an unmet need or an underserved need. So, that is the first question. Is it something that a few people or some groups of people want a lot, need a lot? Yeah. The second, is it a large enough opportunity? And in the word enough, there are some conglomerates for whom they do not want to do a new business unless it will become 10,000 crores over a 5-year period. But you and I are entrepreneurs. We are not looking to be 10,000 crores in 5 years, or we may be very happy if I was that, but that is not my game plan. I would like a business that makes money, that creates jobs, that keeps me in the lifestyle that I would like, without having to worry about whether it will be 10,000 and 20,000 and 40,000. So, the understanding of what is enough is different for each individual, is different from company to company, is different from entrepreneur to entrepreneur, but suffice it to say that large numbers of people should feel the need that we have identified. The third is called scalable business model, and in scaling there are 2 aspects. One aspect is, are you able to take revenues up? Are you able to take number of customers, does it go up? And at the same time our cost should come down. As our customers go up and they adopt our product, our costs of whether making the product or acquiring the customer should come down. That is the meaning of scalability. If the customers go up but the cost also keep up, there is no synergy in that business, there is no scalability in that business. It is almost like having 3, 4, 5, 10 businesses by themselves. For example, in my senior citizen daycare center, if the cost of one daycare center and the second daycare center are exactly the same, and I have no synergies between the two, there is no costs that come down when I go from one to the other, then I might as well call them 2 different businesses and not call them part of the same business. So, that is what scalability means, the ability to take the revenue up, the number of customers up, and the ability to bring down costs. Both of those are part of scalable business model. The fourth is differentiated. Are you doing the same thing that somebody else is doing, or are you doing something different, or are you doing something differently? Both are fine. The end product can be different or the process can be different. Both are acceptable as innovation. So, is the innovation differentiated is the fourth 5 filter framework, and many of these when you do, you will realize that these answers come to you by itself. Why us, why now is a very important thing that investors are constantly asking startup founders. Why is it that you want to solve this problem? Why is it that you want to solve this problem? And why is it that you want to solve this problem now? So, if I take my the idea that I have been talking about, which is the recreational daycare center for senior citizens living in tier 2 cities, because their children perhaps have gone to tier 1 cities. Is it a burning need? In my judgment, it is a burning need. It is a burning need for those people whose children have left, and those are large enough and this problem is acute. So, the burning is not about being a large problem. The burning need is this problem is acute for them. It is also a problem which the children face, they feel very guilty about, or they feel very sorry about, and they wish they could do something about it. So, it is both a need from the senior citizen as well as their children. Is it large? In my, I again will go by enough, and yes, it seems like a big enough opportunity. Is there scalability? So, some parts cannot scale. For example, the land needed for one center and the land needed for another center are different, but maybe costs of transportation, costs of engagement, cost of manpower, there could be some scalability that I see in that. Once we build a brand, then people will come to us. So, the cost of acquisition of customers is going to go down. So, I can see some costs going down as our number of customers go up. Differentiated. So, if you are unique, nobody else is offering it, you are unique, but you have to keep staying ahead of the curve, so that it is not that you are unique and differentiated today, but you maintain that position over a period of time. If I were asked by an investor why now, I would explain it as how this is what happens in a growing economy, where jobs are concentrated in 7, 8, 10 cities, but families live across. So, that is the why now answer. The why us answer is, I feel this way about my parents, or I have felt this way looking at people around me, that is the why us. So, we have to explain why is this an important problem to solve now, and why does it matter to you to solve this problem. Many of my students want to solve the problem of sustainability. So, they talk about how it is important to them that they are able to correct for some of the problems that the older generations have created for them. So, this is a simple opportunity assessment framework, just called the 5 filter framework. I am going to end this lesson by helping helping you understand the difference between a problem and an opportunity. And the reason I want to do this is because problems are easier to spot, opportunities are less easy to spot, but there is more money at a unit level, or sometimes more money at a total level, that is possible for a startup from an opportunity point of view. Typically, problems are at the bottom of the pyramid, needs, unmet needs problems. Opportunities are underserved and perhaps at the middle of the Maslow pyramid. I have some brand logos here, some company logos here, and I will talk to you about each of them. So, this is Atomberg. It is an IIT Bombay startup, meaning the students were at IIT Bombay, they graduated and they started this company called Atomberg. They approached it as there has not been innovation in this ceiling fan business in a long time, and that was the problem they set out to solve. So, for me this is a problem that they were solving, not an opportunity that they saw. Yeah. I will go to Redbus. Redbus is a startup which is an aggregator for bus tickets, and the entrepreneur himself could not go from Bangalore to Hyderabad for Diwali because they had not booked their tickets. And the story is that this entrepreneur could see buses go, he did not know how to book a bus ticket, where to find it, and so on. So, this is definitely started with identifying a problem. Yeah. Swiggy. When Swiggy started, it identified an opportunity of convenience that urban middle to higher middle class people would like the convenience of good food being delivered to them. It became a necessity during COVID. It became a problem and a necessity during COVID, but when it started, they had spotted this opportunity of offering convenience to people like me who are lazy and don't want to cook every day, or can't cook every form of Italian and Chinese and North Indian and South Indian. So, it identified the opportunity of convenience. That's what Swiggy originally identified. COVID of course gave them a big boost. Boat, many of you I am sure are using boat products, which are audio devices, and yeah. And boat's opportunity that they spotted was that either you had expensive audio devices or you had low quality audio devices. So they cracked this middle where they gave good quality with very stylish looking products at an affordable price. So they spotted an opportunity in the Maslow, not at the base, but somewhere at the middle of the pyramid. So that's boat. It was more an opportunity than a problem that they were solving. Tesla. Tesla is probably the world's largest selling or till recently the world's largest selling electric car, and the founder of the company wants to solve planet Earth's challenge, and that's the problem that is stated as something that entrepreneur wants to solve. Here is another example, that is a student out of an alum, ex-student out of IIT Bombay. Grow is a mutual fund, it's a wealth management platform where it educates people to do their own without having to rely on a third party, someone who comes and pitches to you. So it believes in education. Here it spotted an opportunity that existed in the marketplace. I would not qualify this as a burning need, so to say. So it does not matter whether it is a problem or an opportunity. All I wanted to say was problems are easier to spot. Opportunities come slightly higher in the pyramid, sometimes more difficult to spot, more money to be made in the middle of the pyramid than at the bottom of the pyramid. It is a little general statement, but I would like you to use the Maslow pyramid. I would also like you to use the UN Sustainable Development Goals and try and find problems that interest you, problems that you would like to solve. The government of India on many of their department websites post problem statements. So there is a Startup India website. If you type in Startup India, you will go to a website and there is a section within that called problem statements. So many ministries, many departments of the government of India put out the statements. So whether it is defense or it is aerospace or it is consumer affairs or it is banking and financial services, there are problem statements already available to you. So do not say ki I do not know what problem to solve, that is fine. You can find problems by the methods that I have shared with you in this lesson. Some are available directly on Startup India kind of websites. Go forth, figure out a problem you wish to solve, convert it into an opportunity for your company, and work with me through the rest of this course, Foundations of Entrepreneurship, to be able to build a pitch deck and to be building a business plan for the problem that you wish to solve. Yeah. Looking forward to having you in the next class. Thank you.